This is a preview of the Fiat 124 Spider, or in this case also, with both versions, the Abarth 124 Spider. This one here is a top sports version that will be coming up, and also soon we'll show you the normal version that is right over there then. So we have both the sport and the normal entry version. This preview is here on Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars with Thomas. This very car here is on the platform of the Mazda MX-5. It's also built in Japan, and so we were very satisfied with the all-new MX-5, the Miata. However, Fiat put their engine inside. You know, the MX-5 has the naturally aspirated engines. Fiat then puts turbo engines inside. Here 1.4 liter in the Abarth version with 170 horsepower instead of 140 horsepower. This acceleration is about here 6.2 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. And we can see from the outside, don't really see it the first time, it is an MX-5. This one here has totally different headlights and a totally different front, especially here in the Abarth version. It really looks like a completely different car. However, I think it's a little bit too much with this matte black foil here. I more prefer the standard version, which we'll also soon see. But we're starting here with a big sports version and also then the bigger alloys, 17-inch in a black color scheme. And you see how small and how low the car sits. However, if you compare it with the MX-5 Miata, this one here is a little bit longer. So there's a little bit longer of the overhangs. But basically, there's a lot of the same technology inside. Also, when you can see, for example, with the infotainment screen. The Abarth has definitely different seats here. That is one change, for example. Let's see it right here. Overall bars. And we'll also take a look at the normal seat option if we go on to the rear. Also different taillights than the MX-5. Has kind of a 3D look, more drawn back horizontally. Overall, I mean, well, it's a very fancy car, but as I said, looking forward to your opinion on that one here. In this Abarth version here, a little bit too aggressive from the looks because it loses a little bit of the elegance then. But of course, the power is quite nice. Thank you very much. Let me get inside. First of all, a shot for the camera. Abarth steering wheel and the sporty side, red contrast stitches on the inside. And we can also see this part here is also been used in the Alfa Romeo models to move the front seat up and down again. Now I'm really looking forward with the feeling we have as for the space. Well, yeah, here you now get an impression as you would be sitting in the MX-5. It's as little space as you have in the MX-5. I told you in the MX-5 review it's a little bit better in the previous generation, but again, it's nothing here for really tall people because especially with my right knee, that's really, really close. And I feel like I'm sitting on the car, you know, when I sit upright. That's, you know, but it still works with my head also when the roof is closed. But of course, not the most practical solution then for tall drivers. For example, the temperature controls we have here on the inside, they are all from Mazda. It's the same than we have in the MX-5. Also, the infotainment screen is the same than in the Mazda. Let me see if we can turn on. What is very nice is we got the Alcantara cover here, but where Mazda is, for example, offering also leather red, but both is definitely a really good idea. Manual shifting is possible here, also with the Alcantara shifting back. That's also really pleasing to me. So it's very nice to see this kind of new version here as well. And in a market where, you know, where there are fewer and fewer convertibles, well, there's still some in the premium market, but not really affordable ones. I really like also to see the Fiat version here of the 124 Spider, but in this case, again, as I said, the Abarth version. And for more deals on the normal civil variant, normal Fiat 124 Spider, will now move on to that version here now, and then you can also compare it, how it looks here, Abarth versus the Fiat. Now let me show you how fast it goes to open or close the roof. It's the same like in the Mazda MX-5. You release it right here. You can also just do it with one hand. And it's literally just when you do it fast, like 3 seconds. And then you can attach it from the inside to fix the roof. It's really easy. Just push this one here forward. And then it's totally fixed already. And releasing it, same again, you just push it back. And like this, and it's done. So I think it's one of the best roof concepts on the market. Definitely, we've seen it set it with the MX-5 as well, because you don't need any electronic stuff. Nothing can be really that way broken, and it's super fast. And also when you got your own technique, it works just with one hand. And this is now the serial version, the standard version with 1.4 liter displacement turbo with 140 horsepower, not 6.2 but rather 7.5 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers. Still enough, and of course a little bit faster than the Mazda because you have the turbocharger in here as well. But as the car is really so light, we didn't really feel with the Mazda that you lack power. But if you want to have some more boost, then it might also be an argument to go for the Fiat to get the turbo. Of course, you can also argue that, well, you rather want to have a very durable Mazda naturally aspirated engine. That would be maybe one very good argument. Now you can also see how it really looks like in the front when it's just in one color. This one here is called Passion Red. And I really prefer that one here in the one color scheme. You see we have sporty accents here on the lower part of the bumper. This one in the middle with the black plain plastic, that looks a little bit cheap. Not really satisfied with that one. But from the distance, it definitely looks better. I'm not sure yet if I like the MX-5. I have to look at it from a distance again. If I want the MX-5 or the Fiat more. But well, the MX-5 has more this kind of very, not that very kind of straight lines. It goes like this and then small. This one here looks, let's say, more simple from the design, and I really appreciate it. You can also see it from the side profile if you step back a little bit. 70-inch rims here as well. Not my favorite scheme for the rims, but everything else is kind of very simple also from the side designer. And so with the Fiat version here, the 124 Spider, if you compare it to the MX-5, you get the more calm design, definitely. This one here reminds us of some older MX-5 models, to put some more luggage on that one. I wouldn't go for that one, but it has, some kind of tradition, definitely. Not, necessarily here for this very new car, but reminiscence of the old cars. Now the interior, this one here is with the brown leather because manufacturers feel they always have to display the real leather on the motor shows. The color, however, is very nice, and this one here is then from leather red, the cover here on the screen. The interior, as I said earlier, really reminds us of the MX-5, just a different steering wheel. And now if we can take a look at the rear, we can also see how the non-Abarth version looks like from the rear. And I think it's a very attractive design. It's not too much screaming out for attention. A modern design, but also, I think, kind of timeless. So if you see this car in 10 years, I wouldn't have a problem with it. And maybe that's a little bit different to the Mazda MX-5. I think this design here from the Fiat version is a little bit more timeless. However, engine-wise, I think I would feel more happy with the Mazda naturally aspirated one. This one here in white, another color of the car. I always love to show you different variations of the car. Let's get inside right here now, that you can have a look at the cockpit. Manual shifting box here as well. Then again, Mazda controls for the infotainment screen. And so you also know that you get a very good quality because Mazda has really set up the quality, and also as for the durability. It's just the engine you don't get from the Mazda then. Again, quite of limited space. I can close the roof once more. There it is. Oops. Yeah, need some practice with one hand. Maybe a two. There it is. And so, yeah, well, it's like really, really little space above my head. It still works for me as 1.86 m. If you are above 190 in meters in height, then please forget it. I'm sorry. Then you have to move on to another convertible. Below that, it still works then, and has been improved a little bit in comparison to the predecessor generation. Now let me test again. That's a step forward already. So I'm getting practice here with the Miata or also the 124 Spider. One short look in the trunk. Of course it's limited, but due to the slightly bigger overhang, I'm not quite sure. I have to scroll back to the MX-5 video, but it seems like we have a little bit more space here than in the MX-5. Just a little bit, but I think just a little bit more. But overall, you're of course very limited. I remember when we drove the MX-5, we really had to work around how to store luggage there for 2 people. So that's very limited, but I mean, if you think about some other bigger hardtop convertible, that's also limited. And one look beneath the hood, we can open that one. Let's see if where it is. There it is. As we have the turbo engine here inside, I'm going to the natural aspirator of the Mazda. There we can release it. It has no hydraulic dampers whatsoever. Well, not the most beautiful engine design, but the engine has to work very well. It doesn't have to look that beautiful. But just so you get an impression of how it looks beneath it when you got the turbo in here. Overall, I think what I like most about this car, same but the concept for the MX-5, it's a achievable convertible, and convertible for everyone still. Not the really super high big engines, we don't need that. Just keep the weight of the car low, and that is what has happened here. And I mean, why not share some good things then between manufacturers? There are so many cooperations between manufacturers nowadays. They all have to cut down costs, and so you have a possibility to go for different styling of the car and also pick different engine variation. I hope you liked our insight here. And when I'm sitting here right now, even though I'm a little bit tall for the car, I would just like to start the engine and just drive out of here and enjoy the sun on the outside, which is not shining right now, but I just imagine it would be. And I also imagine that you tune in for more Autogefühl episode, be it full reviews or also Geneva Motor Show previews here with Thomas.